All right, so you're about to hear a conversation that I just did with an agent that I'm coaching who is going to share how he's been able to list $4.5 million of properties within inside of his first 30 days. Now, it doesn't matter if you're brand new watching this or you've been in business for 10, 20 plus years. The question is, how is this brand new agent in one of the most difficult markets in the country able to go out in the marketplace and win business over agents that have way more experience than he does? And so we're going to break down his lead generation strategy. We're going to break down his scripts. We even do role plays so you can hear exactly what he's saying to set high quality listing appointments such that he goes on these appointments to be able to win the best listings in the market. And so if you want the same scripts he's using, I'm going to put a link in the description to my brand new listing agent script book. You can download that right now for free. So what market are you in? Just give us some context and how long have you been actually doing this?
Yeah, so I'm in South Florida. That's my market. I've been doing it. So I have my license for a few years. I really just started. I committed full time back in April, end of April. Um, and I pretty
April
much
24?
no 25.
Wow, like real recent.
Yeah, I fully committed and I pretty much, I went through your training and I pretty much just imitated exactly what you teach and I listed in just over 30 days. I listed a little bit over 4.5 million in volume. Um,
Unbelievable, which is
yeah,
why we wanted to have you on here.
yeah,
So that's what I want to talk about because there are so many people that whether or not they get into this coaching program or they just watch from afar, they can understand the information intellectually, but they cannot execute. They
right.
have all types of creative avoidance, they overthink everything. They just can't seem to get themselves into taking action. So that's what I want to talk about. So you were part-time until literally a few months ago. Is that right?
Right. Yep.
And so like let's dive in first and talk about of all the voices. I mean, there's so many different distractions on, do this and do that. And I am genuinely curious, what had you go all in on direct outbound prospecting versus another avenue out of curiosity, buying leads, doing something different? What was it for you?
I mean, all the other stuff just didn't work for me. Trying to go out and network and just talk to people about buying and selling real estate out in the world, it didn't really work for me. I found that cold calling, picking up the phone, having leads, dialing, 3 hours a day, I could generate some appointments and generate some listings from that.
That's great. So did you have experience with cold calling before, or you just said, I'm going to get in this business? I understand it's a direct sales business and I need to make the calls.
When I first got in, I didn't understand what to do. I didn't know it was a direct sales business. I know that I tried making calls before I got into the program. I did like one listing. I got like one listing, never sold, came off market, expired. Um, and then, I came across you and I started taking your training and imitated exactly what you preached and what you teach and just started going on appointments and securing listings.
So what's interesting about that too is not only just in 30 days you've taken $4.5 million worth of listings, you're doing it in South Florida, which is one of the hardest hit markets. Like everyone's like, "Oh, it's so slow here, so slow." You don't know any better, do you? You're just out there running the play. You don't know a good market from a bad market, do you?
No, not at all. I mean, everybody, I think 2024 was like the toughest year. But yeah, you're right. I had no idea.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about the way that you view things right now because there's no excuse. You don't know it any other way. So let's talk about what you are doing that's allowing you to get these types of results. So first off, let's talk about who are what lead sources are you focused on right now?
Mainly just expireds, FISBOs, and for rent by owners.
Got it. Okay. And where are you getting that data from?
Vulcan 7.
Got it. Okay. And so you use their data and their dialer.
Yeah. No, I use Mojo. I use Mojo.
So you're getting the data from Vulcan and then you feed that into Mojo.
Right.
Yeah, got it. Okay, great. So when you like how much prospecting are you doing to give the audience some context to produce at that level? Like how much prospecting are you doing right now?
Consistently 3 hours a day. I try to get anywhere from 10 to 20 contacts. If I'm above 10 contacts, that's good for me. And then 82 hours a month.
82 hours a month. And that's what your business plan says that you need.
Yeah.
Got it. Love it. And your business plan, I mean, what is the goal for the next 12 months? When you built that business plan, what is the goal?
So I originally had it out to I think 70K uh gross commission. I'm about to hit 50 in about 2 months or so. Yeah.
Yeah. So your goal was 70K for a year. You're about to do that in the first couple of months.
Yeah.
So now what's the goal? Have you thought about
Um,
it?
I haven't really thought about it. I'm just pushing forward
Head
and
down. Yeah.
yeah.
That's great. Okay. So here's what people want to know. I mean, there are people on this call and that will watch this replay that have been in this business for 10 years, not producing at the level that you're producing. And yet they're sitting here watching this person who is brand new in one of the most difficult markets, going out there, doing the work, and getting the results to prove it. So you're prospecting for 3 hours. Let's talk about what you're doing on these calls, what you're saying, how you're approaching the call. I'm sure you've learned a lot going through the program, but
Yeah.
is there maybe a technique or two that you find really helps you convert on these phone calls, whether that be to generating an appointment or generating a lead?
I mainly just stick to the script. If they have like, I'll go off script for a little bit. I'll mainly just stick to the script just to get through it and set the appointment. There's really like no secret sauce to it. If you just stick to the script and stick to what you teach, I mean you can get appointments.
Yeah. And you would consider yourself as a driver personality, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you just execute, right? You don't overthink it. You just said, okay, here's the script. Here's what my coach is asking me to do. And you just pick up the phone and do it every day.
exactly.
What would you say to the agent who says, man, I don't know, I've never done these before. I hear you. I hear you, Dylan, loud and clear, but I just can't find myself to make the calls. I want listings. I'm motivated to get listings, but something in me just has me, procrastinating. How would you coach them to just pick up the phone and start doing it?
I think having a routine, like a set routine, getting up early in the morning, going to the gym, having a role play partner, role playing for 30 minutes before you start dialing, and do that 3 hours a day, 60 days, 90 days, consistently. And eventually, you'll just it's easy. Once you get to that point, it's just you just breeze through it.
Yeah. And, out of curiosity, I'm assuming because most of your business right now is coming from what we call bottom of funnel business, that
Right.
most of your appointments are probably coming from that first call, right? Or is it coming through
Uh,
follow up?
no, a lot of them are coming from that first call. Yeah.
Yeah. So that takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of skill to be able to call a complete stranger out of the blue, get them to invite you to come over to their house to talk about listing the property in one conversation. So
Yeah.
you deserve a lot of credit. My point is, you probably have done a lot of, I mean, can we do a little role play? Because I mean, we have to, people make calls all the time, Dylan, and they don't set any appointments ever, right?
Yeah.
So let's just talk about the part of the conversation where you're actually able to set a listing appointment. Let's just pick up from that point. You've already got motivation. You've done your pattern interrupt. You've gotten permission. You figured out, um, I'm trying to move north Florida. I got to sell my condo here in South Florida. What is it that you're saying? Can we do a little role play on
Yeah.
so we can hear what it sounds like for you to set an appointment?
Yeah, I would just say, hey, listen, Brandon, can I make a quick recommendation before I let you go?
Yeah, no problem. Sure.
Yeah, and if what I'm about to ask doesn't make sense, I mean, you tell me, all right?
Fair enough.
Okay, well, let's pretend you and I met and you saw my plan. It was different than anything you've seen before. You genuinely believed I can get you up to North Florida and get you closer to your family. Is there any reason why you wouldn't invite me over just to explore that a little bit more?
No, I think that's fair.
And then yeah, I would just go from there, get the appointment, set the appointment.
You're running the play. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, you pulled up the script, if I'm not mistaken, and say, well, dude, this is what I do every day to set these appointments. You're not overthinking it. The reason I wanted people to hear that, Dylan, is because everyone's like, no, people that are setting appointments got to be doing something different than what Brandon's asking them, right? Like you're just doing exactly what I've asked you to do. Is that fair?
Yeah, yeah. I stick to this script. I think when you get these appointments, a lot of the times the work is on the phone. So when you get to the appointment, it's a little bit easier.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going to talk about that in just a second.
Yeah.
So, what is your um, what is your appointment set to appointment met ratio? Are you having a lot of people cancel on you? Is it pretty good? And what are you
I,
doing
I'm like
to yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
at 77%.
I mean, that's really high. So, are you, after you set that appointment, what is your process for when someone says, yes, I want to meet with you Thursday? What do you do? Do you disqualify it on the phone? Are you doing anything between now and Thursday?
No, I mean, I send them a calendar invite. I follow up with them and say, hey, we're just confirming for our appointment on Thursday. And then I'll do the presentation, set that up, and then I'll be there on Thursday.
Love it. Okay, great. So let's transition to the listing appointment. Before you and I started working together, like what was your presentation? If you were to go meet with a seller, what would you do?
I would just wing it. I had like probably comps and I would just wing it and just walk around the house and not know really what to say.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
And you're winning business now going up against agents that probably have way more experience than you. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And you're winning the business anyways. So tell us what have you learned that helps you win the business at the presentation? Is it how you set up the presentation with the upfront agreement? Is it the pricing presentation? What part of the presentation do you feel really, really helps you to win?
I think breaking down the numbers so they know what they're going to walk away with after the sale of their home, I think that really gives them clarity and confidence in me and my ability to get the home sold and get them the most money possible.
Yeah. And so in learning the listing presentation that I've taught you, like what was how important was that to learn to maybe give you the confidence on the phone to set appointments? In other words, most agents are afraid to set appointments because they say, well, geez, I don't even know what I'm going to do when I get there. Did that help you on the phone more once you dialed in that listing presentation?
Yeah, I think so. I think, knowing that I know what to say at these appointments, it makes it a little bit easier on the phone. Yeah. I think a lot of the times the work is done on the phone before you get to the appointment. So they want to feel that energy. And then when you get to that appointment, you bring that same energy and they feel that. And, as long as they're comfortable and confident with you, you shouldn't have any issue.
Yeah. Are you doing anything or what have you done rather to practice the presentation? Or do you just go in there and just read the script to them like a story?
No, no, I just put my own little sales twist on that. I put my own sales twist. I practice the script, but I put my own little spin on it. So it sounds more authentic.
Yeah. Do you practice it by yourself or do you have a role play partner or what does that look
Yeah,
like?
yeah, I have a role play partner. Yeah. We practice it about once a week.
That's great. And is it over the phone or do you guys typically do it over Zoom
We do it through Discord.
or through Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Now, as you start to look ahead and you start to say, okay, I want to continue to scale my business, like how many listings do you need to take or is the goal every month for you to take?
The goal originally was to take like one every other month. Now I'm taking like one to three a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so as you start to think about, how quickly you're able to scale this business, you know, would you have done anything differently when you started?
Uh, when I started the program,
Well,
you
just,
start coaching me.
before you were, how long were you part-time?
A few like 2, 3 years.
So that's my point. Knowing what you know now and how you're able to use these skills to generate business the way you have, would you have gone full-time quicker or would you have stayed part-time? I guess
Yeah.
that's the question.
Yeah, I would have went full time a lot sooner if I had known what I know now.
And that's because what kept you from going full time was maybe a piece of uncertainty that you have now. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, totally. So, what were some of the mistakes that you made part time that kept you from going full time? You said I tried a bunch of different things, but none of it worked. What were some of those things?
I would say not being consistent cold calling every day for 3 hours, not having a rigid routine, getting up to go to the gym, calling, role playing. Um, and then, sometimes I would get appointments and I would cancel. I would have other things to do. So I think really just focusing and committing 110% you know, what we do is gonna get you there.
Yeah, no doubt. And is that kind of what you would say to an agent, Dylan, who maybe is walking out of the testing center saying, dude, I just watched what you did over the last 30 days. Like, I want to be a listing agent. I'm trying all this crap. I'm buying Zillow leads. I'm doing all like, what do I need to do to win? Like, what advice would you give that person?
I think that a lot of people think cold calling is dead and it doesn't work. I think that you know, through my experience, it's worked for me. I mean, I listed 4.5 million in volume just in over 30 days. So I think that I would just, kind of share my experience and let them know that, cold calling works. You can generate leads, you can generate appointments. You just have to have the right coach.
Yeah. I mean, why do you think people continue to spread misinformation about cold calling is dead? Do these other easier things. Come over here. You don't want to do any of that. Come over here and do this stuff.
To be honest, I think just everybody thinks it's hard. It's difficult to cold call. You get a lot of rejection, you get a lot of no's, but like you say, the yes lives in the land of no. So
Yeah. I mean, that's the challenge. And this is for another conversation. But I've always challenged these people that create marketing messages that agents are hoping to hear, which is, hey, you don't have to do any of that stuff. There's a magic pill, there's a path of least resistance over here. Come do this thing. I've always challenged all of them to say, I would put what we do, direct outbound prospecting, up against anything else and see which one does the agent actually produce more. And I have yet to been proven that anything can produce results as fast as direct outbound prospecting. And you're living proof of that. That you're not going to start a YouTube channel or a social media account or a podcast or buy leads or this marketing or that marketing and do the amount of business that we can do going after the people that we want to work for. And that's been your experience. Is that right?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no doubt. So you guys, we've got Dylan here for the next few minutes. If you guys have any questions, you've got somebody who's really coming out of the gates and having a lot of success quickly. Do you guys want to pick his brain on anything? Do you have questions for him? Yeah, Sam, do you want to add? We'll start with Sam.